Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am Lanolin, and we are back with episode 13 of Feed the Beast Unstable. And I'm sure you have noticed I've done a little bit of work off camera as far as updating the my house a little bit. Got myself a second floor where I've got some nice, awesome Buildcraft lasers set up. Hell yeah! Because I needed to use some. I needed some circuits, man. I needed some gates so I could do some autarkic gates, so I don't have to use the Buildcraft engines, because man, they cause some serious lag, some serious FPS problems. Same thing with the liquid pipes. The liquid Buildcraft pipes cause ridiculous FPS lag. But everything seems to be working all right now. So the generator I used is the diamond generator from Progressive Automation, and it's okay. I mean, it's got a really, really small internal storage of only 160K, but it outputs at 160 RF a tick, which is pretty nice. I mean, it empties itself pretty quickly, but it doesn't take too long to create everything, so I'm happy with it. So anyway, what are we doing today? Well, I teased Aura Cascade a little bit last episode, and I've had this little fairy flying around me for quite a while, and I figured this episode we could get to work figuring out how to make ourselves some fairies, because it's actually not too bad. Not too bad. I was actually able to create these fairies using literally early game stuff from Aura Cascade. So just keep in mind that as a lot of this stuff is still a work in progress, as this is basically a beta alpha testing pack, I don't know what you want to call it, but know that some stuff might change in the future, but for now it's all pretty much stayed consistent between versions. So to begin in Aura Cascade, I highly recommend you cruise through these quests. Now I've already done them, but they tend to reset themselves. However, your first time through all the quests, you get rewards, which is really, really cool. But the bug, there used to be a bug that allowed you to continue to get the rewards, but that's been fixed. So don't worry if you're worried about possibly getting more and more and more and more rewards. You will not receive any after the first time. So anyway, let's begin. We're not going to cruise through the whole tutorial or anything like that. I'm going to leave that to you guys. But we will touch on a few of the important bits as we make our way towards some cool new fairies. I only have the one. I just have the one trainer fairy that drops little XP bubbles for me, which has been quite nice. Quite nice. It's probably generated me, I don't know, maybe 30 levels altogether. Maybe more than that, I'm not sure. But anyway, you got to make yourselves some aura crystals. Now, the aura crystals are pretty cheap. I was pretty happy with how much the aura crystals got. Oh yeah, I forgot. Forgot that does not work. Now, I already have some crystals, so I'm not going to make any, but they're pretty straightforward to make. So let me grab some of my aura crystals. Let me grab some of my aura nodes, which you're going to need some of those. Again, not too expensive to make, but they're pretty important. They're like the pipes, if you will, of Aura Cascade. So we have our burning aura pump. We have an aura node. Good. We'll grab a couple of these. Good, cool. And some wool. We'll wait on the wool. Alright, so the first thing I actually want to show you guys isn't really necessary for the creation of any of the fairy stuff. It's just kind of it's the furnace, if you will, for Aura Cascade. Now, it doesn't double, which sucks. And it's really quick, though, so I'll give it that. So if you have yourselves a burning aura pump like we have here, again, pretty cheap. You only need yourself a little aura node, some lapis, and some iron. You want to go ahead and place him kind of like right there. And in between your cascading smelter and your burning aura pump, you're going to want to place one of these aura nodes. Because again, these guys are basically the pipes of Aura Cascade, so yeah. So you can probably notice the little arrow pointing upwards. Now when I first started off, I was like, why can't I get the arrow to point at the machine? Why is it only placing up? Well, that's for good reason. The way Aura Cascade works, the way the energy or power is generated in Aura Cascade, involves the manipulation of the ore around us using these crystals. Now there are a bunch of different crystals, as you can see if you look around. Where are they? Oh, here they are. There are a bunch of different crystals. They all have little unique attributes associated with them, and yeah, they're used to create all sorts of fancy nifty things in Aura Cascade. And to activate their powers, you got to throw them up in the air. You throw them up high in the sky, about that high. I think that's about 7 blocks. Whoops. No. Yeah, you throw them up in the sky like that. It gives them a little bit of inertia. It gives them a little bit of strength and speed. And I need to get up there really quick, and I can't. Wow. Can't quite get up there. Because you want to make sure that these guys all flow or I'll complete a circuit. They don't need to flow a whole bunch of different directions, and honestly, they don't seem to work too terribly well if you try to flow a bunch of different nodes all across a whole bunch of different places. So there we go. Perfect. So that right there is going to make a complete circuit. So you put your aura in there. Go ahead and grab one of these white crystals. Just like that. See, white aura, 1,000. Now it's sitting in there. It doesn't have anything to do. It has nothing to propel it upward. So however, if we toss some of this coal, nice. It's going to pick it up. It's going to shoot it up into the air. Nice. So it's going up and it's coming back down and into here. Actually, I guess it's going up that way. It might just be rendering weird. But either way, it's working as intended. So now if we actually run inside and grab ourselves some ore. Nice, I got some gold ore. If we toss it on here like that. Now, there's no GUI. I'm right-clicking on it, nothing happens. You can only throw stuff at it, which I don't particularly care for. It also doesn't double your ores, so I kind of skipped over it as far as methods, early game methods for smelting things. It's cool, but it's not for me. Other people might like it, be really cool for a magic pack, but I like a lot of the other things that exist in Aura Cascade, like, again, the awesome fairies. So what we're going to do this episode, apart from that little demonstration a moment ago, is create ourselves some more fairy charms, which require these arcane white gems, which can only be created in this crazy guy out here. I'm sure you saw him sitting there. He's got some burning aura pumps around him and a few vortex pedestals. Nice. Nice. So let's open up our Encyclopedia Aura. And arcane gem. Here we go. How do I make an arcane gem? Whoa. All right, so this is the interface for the vortex pedestal you got over there. Wait, what's it called again? Vortex controller, my bad. The pedestals are the things around it. For the vortex controller. So 3 white arcane ingots and a diamond. That's not too bad. Gets us an arcane gem. Okay. So how do we go about creating these guys? Whoa. Here we go. Oh, yeah. The arcane white ingots. It's actually a little bit... I was surprised. I was not expecting, like, the way that you create these multicolored gems or ingots that all exist, because, like, there's white, green, black, red, orange, etc., 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 all used for all different certain things. Of course, there's also their gem counterparts that are, all created very similarly. However, the white one... pretty straightforward. Now this is why we were looking at the wool earlier, and why I have a couple different colors of wool as well. So we're going to grab 3 wool. We're going to grab 3 iron. Oh, look at that. You can finally right-click to clear this thing. That's awesome. Before I used to have to, hold backspace, blah, 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 which sucked, or do the all, or Control A. But now you can right-click to clear it. That's amazing. Oh, that's awesome. Quality of life changes. So anyway, we have our 3 white wool, and we have our 3 iron ingots. Ooh, we got to set this guy up before we can use it. So yeah, the cascading processor. The cascading processor is what's going to allow us to actually create these awesome colored ingots. So, as I'm sure you can imagine, white arcane ingots, green arcane ingots, and so on and so forth need the corresponding wool color. Now, I don't know if the wool is a placeholder for something that will be changed in the future, or if that's actually how it's going to be like normally, but we'll see. We shall see. But first, we got to set this guy up just like we set him up over here. So we put down our burning aura pump, or a node, jump up and put him there, give him a buddy. Now I hold shift right click to actually place those down. They don't seem to want to place by just normally placing right click, so this works. I should also point out that this burning aura pump is like the lowest tier pump. There are a bunch of different pumps, as you can see. Projectile aura pump, momentum aura pump, illumination, redstone, alternating. Like, there's a whole bunch. All sorts. All sorts. But I chose this one because I have a pretty hefty supply of coal, and it's the most straightforward, and requires the least amount of space, which was something I noticed increased significantly as you went across some of the later game aura pumps. They require a lot of space. So let's get that in there. And for all of this, for these functionalities, I don't believe any type of aura. Oops, I don't believe any type of aura is needed. I just kind of use whatever. I believe, actually, as I mentioned earlier, different types, different colors of crystal aura. They all have different attributes. Like, for example, if I use the aura crystal red and I blew up TNT near the burning pump or near the aura nodes with that red aura in it, it'll absorb it and give me a whole bunch of power. However, that sounds super spooky, so I'm just going to kind of stick with what I'm doing here, which works. All right, so this guy's getting slowly filled up with power. He needs a significantly larger amount of power than this guy. And actually, you know what we should do? I should throw this stuff down. So we're going to go ahead and toss this guy. There we go. Come on. There we go. We're going to toss those there and actually run back into the base real quick because I need to grab a piece of cobblestone. Actually, probably 2 pieces of cobblestone. Because placing a block in between... There we go. Placing a block in between the aura node. Ooh, it just transformed. Nice. So how much more do you have to go? A lot more. Okay, so that stuff can sit there and wait. But yeah, putting a block in between the aura node that is touching the, the processing tool block, if you will, it'll allow it to store aura up there. See how it's kind of like holding up to it? For example, if I went ahead and tossed some more coal down there, let it burn through the rest of that white aura, it's all going to just kind of stay up there, ready to use whenever we need to process something. And we can speed this process up, actually, by adding more burning aura pumps. But I'm okay with this. This is fine. Because I actually have I have an okay supply of ingots, I think. I'm probably wrong, actually. It probably wouldn't hurt to speed this up. But anyway, while this is going, we can actually set this guy up. Because we need to get these aura nodes up top here. And that's where we're going to acquire a little bit more... Huh. It would actually help a lot if I had a roof, but unfortunately no roof. Now, I should mention, I'm not actually sure what, like, the best height is for this. I kind of looked around online. I looked around in the wiki, and the little video that also accompanied it didn't really mention anything about it. So... as far as I know, I don't know. I have no idea if there's like a good height for where to place this stuff. So I would say just kind of stick with what I'm doing, I guess, for now, until I can kind of figure that out. Ah. Sounds. The atmospheric sounds are kind of... the buzzing. I don't know what the buzzing is. I wish I could make the buzzing stop. I don't think it's my fairy. But it might be my fairy. I don't know why it would make my fairy buzz. Alright, so I'm going to get the rest of these up here. How are you going? Ooh. Yeah, process one more. Oh, is that it? Oh, nice, it did them all. Okay, so now we have 3 arcane white ingots. Hell yeah, man. So now what we can do... so no cut, no cut. Progress is being made. We can run in here and grab our diamond real quick. All caps diamond. And then from here, we can put our diamond right there. Ooh, fancy. Diamond, or not diamond, arcane ingot, and arcane ingot. Nice. So they're going to dance around a little bit there. And yeah, they need a lot of power. A lot of power. 60,000 needs to go to the diamond, and then 20k each needs to go to each one of the ingots. So again, there are much more efficient ways to do this. This is just how I did it, being like a total nub, not totally sure how to do it, and I really wanted some fairies, so I'm just going to show you guys how I did it. So again, there are definitely better ways to do this, but it works. It works, and it requires very little resources. Well, okay, that might not be true, because you actually burn through a pretty hefty amount of arcane crystals. Man, that just doesn't want... there's just no shift right-click functionality with those. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and finish building this up, then I will come back and show you guys what else we need. Well, actually, we might be good to go with that right there. Put that right there, that right there, and that right there. Nice. And I don't think anything needs to be in the middle. I think I can do that, and it all be good. Yeah, nothing needs to be in the middle. It's important you don't use too many of these aura nodes, so you don't want to put an aura node in the middle, even though it looks like the perfect place to put one. Like, oh, everything will touch. Everything will work great. Now, you really don't want to do that, because as we noticed from these guys over here, which actually I should go ahead and put that down there like that, save the aura from draining away. Oh, they're touching. That's cool. I didn't consider that. Let's go ahead and do one of these to make sure they're not sharing any aura. So cool. Nice. So these guys are all connected. So what we can do at this point is grab some of our crystal nodes. I'll toss like 3k in there. Toss like, I don't know, a bunch in there. There you go. Nice. Haha. So these guys are slowly going to fill up with aura. Look at that. It happens fairly quickly. Now, again, I'm not 100% on the mechanics, but I don't think I don't think the 4K or so that I put in right here is going to be 4K over here. Like, obviously it's not. It's going to increase it by quite a bit. And that's why we're throwing it up in the air, you know? Toss it way up into the sky, allow it to build up momentum as it comes back down, and it'll increase its power exponentially. I'm still pretty noob when it comes to Aura Cascade, though. So, as I've mentioned many times, there are definitely better ways to do this. I just found this to work pretty well for me. I think the biggest reason why I like it is that it's really compact compared to a lot of the other options that you have. And since I'm really only using Aura Cascade right now for the fairies, I thought this was perfect. Like, this is perfect for pumping out more fairies whenever I want some new cool stuff. And yeah. So give me a moment. I'm going to go ahead and let this thing work its way through. And once we get to the point that it's almost done, I will return. All right, so, okay, cool. So we got one of them is done, 20k out of 20k. Then the rest are going to work their way through. And then that final one, the one for the diamond, this guy, is going to continue on the 60k. Cool. You know, at this point, it might actually be worth connecting these guys up. Ooh, but I need one more. Whoa. Oh, actually, no, they should connect up now that I move that block. Right? Anyway, we should be good. I'll be back. Alright, so this is almost done. Should be coming up on 60k in just a moment. Whoosh! And we are complete. Nice. So now we have, no, I didn't make two. We only made one. I already had one, so just remember that. So just like that, we have ourselves an arcane white gem, which we can use to make some pretty cool fairy things. Let's go ahead and put this block back up here. Nice. Cool. And what's nice is this is going to go ahead and store a lot of the excess aura that we have for in the future when we need to make some more arcane white gems. And also, since these guys seem to connect, we might actually be able to use the processing power of all of these burning aura pumps to go ahead and process this as well. Because this was pretty slow. This was like super slow with just the one pump. But since these guys connected, we might be able to do some cool stuff. Or at least speed it up. So anyway, finally, after quite a bit of blabbing and messing around with Aura Cascade, we can make some cool stuff. Namely, some fairies. So, fairies charm, fairy. So let's make some more of these fairy charms. So anyway, if we look through all of these different fairies, I actually have a little list here of fairies I wanted to make. I wanted to make the fighter fairy, the fetcher fairy, the debuffer fairy, and I think the lighter fairy. Where's the lighter fairy? Yeah. Nice. All right, so let's make the lighter fairy first. Oop. Need some more torches. Nice. So let's look up and see what the lighter fairy does. Fairies. Oh yeah, I should mention that before you can actually use any of these fairies, you need to make a ring of binding, which you make it the same way that we just made the white crystal, or I'm sorry, the arcane white gem. It just instead you need a block of gold, a block of redstone, a block of diamond, and a block of iron. And a whole bunch of different colors. It was actually quite... It took a little while. It took a little while, which is why I wasn't demonstrating how to make another one, because it actually took quite a few crystals to do. But once you have that, you can make yourself some fairy charms. The fairy charms, as you saw, were pretty cheap to make. And then the fairies themselves are also actually pretty cheap to make. So we have ourselves a lighter fairy. Nice. Before we make the lighter fairy, I want to make a fighter fairy. Or before we utilize it, or look at it. So we need to make another fairy charm. Oh man, do we not have any bricks? Oh, I've got a bunch of, like, used bricks. Or block bricks. Alright, good, we got some clay. We got some clay on deck. And actually, ooh, I wonder if the clay would be faster going through here. Let's toss that in there. See if we can smelt up some clay. Oh, we wasted a progress. Not too bad, not too bad. It's a little slow. I don't know, I'd say maybe it's a little bit faster than a standard furnace. Although it does seem to be... I mean, I can't... Yeah, okay, cool, we're good. I thought it was producing more bricks than what I put down, but instead, no, I'm good. It's crazy. Alright, so with that, we should be able to make a couple more fairy charms. Nice. Oh, I have a lot of arcane white ingots. Holy cow, I can make all the fairies. Alright, so yeah, I wanted the fighter fairy, which I should actually have a bunch of diamond swords for. Nice, fighter fairy. And then one more. Do I want to do the fetcher? Yeah, I want to do the fetcher fairy. The debuffer fairy is cool. It throws debuffs on enemies. But the fetcher fairy is going to work kind of like a magnet. It's going to grab items for you. It might turn out to be super annoying, but we'll see. I mean, most magnet things tend to be kind of annoying in lots of situations. But I don't know. We'll see how the fetcher fairy works. All right. So now that we have our fairies, I believe all we need to do is just right-click our gem, or right-click our ring. Shift right-click our ring. I took them all out. I can't remember how you put them in there. Let's take a look. Fairies are... And once we have the ring of binding, right-click with ring of binding equipped to summon. Oh, how do you put them in there? Oh, you know what? I'm dumb. I gotta equip it, duh. And then right-click. There we go. You shift right-click with it in your hand to take all the fairies out. So now we have our fighter fairy, our lighter fairy. Oh, they all have aspects too. That's funny. And our trainer fairy. Nice. I'm pretty sure if we walk outside, we actually see, like, all of our fairies. Yeah, so, yeah, we have all little fairies flying around us. It's so cool. Now, obviously, once we get to, like, 15 of 15 fairies, it might get a little bit ridiculous. But that's awesome. All right, so we got to test out some of these fairies. And I think the best way to do that would be to run downstairs and fight some guys. Because I want to see how the lighter fairy works up too. Because apparently the lighter fairy will place temporary invisible light sources to light stuff up around you. So, there we go. As we're running around, she's placing, or he, you know, it could be guy fairy. It's placing like little light sources for us. That's so cool. I'm sure you YouTube guys will really like that. Like, nice. Lanolin always neglects to carry around torches, and now we don't have to worry about it anymore. Now, again, they are temporary light sources. I'm pretty sure they go away after a couple seconds. But the fighter fairy, I think will fight with me. Or not. Let's see if Fetcher Fairy will grab that zombie flesh for me. Yes! That's awesome. Alright, not bad, not bad. The Fighter Fairy might only fight every once in a while. Whoa. There we go. 1 damage. So it only does 1 damage, but you know what? That might be the difference between life and death, man. Well, that is pretty cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up there. Like I mentioned, I have the Fetcher Fairy, Fighter Fairy, Lighter Fairy, and Trainer Fairy. The Trainer Fairy was the first one I made because it'll occasionally drop XP on you. And in this pack, I found that to be pretty useful, especially if you're cruising through Thaumcraft and you want to enchant all your different things. And yeah, you can quickly move through a lot of experience points, even with the changes to experience and enchanting in 1.8. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that little quick, rough and dirty kind of quick start guide for Aura Cascade. I enjoyed it. I really like Aura Cascade, and I'm curious about getting into excuse me. I'm curious about getting into Aura Cascade. What is doing damage to me? A little bit more seriously. Right now, I've pretty much only kind of screwed around with the fairies, and I mean, I'm not even using any of the advanced pumps. I'm just using very basic stuff to get started. But either way, it does work, and I found it to be very, very useful. So thanks for watching, guys. I have been Lanolin, and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. So be sure to like, favorite, and if you're not already, be sure to subscribe. More unstable episodes to come. I'm really hoping that I can get kind of, messing around with hydraulic craft a little bit, because I got started and then early game changed, and now I'm just waiting for an update so I can start screwing around with the changes to early game, so I can show you guys all the cool stuff you can do with hydraulic craft, because it's actually really neat. I really like hydraulic craft. So anyway, whoa, server desync aside, thanks for watching, guys. I've been Lanolin, and I will see you next time. Let me in. Bye.